Thank you very much.
This meeting is being recorded.
So thank you very much, Asha, and everyone for joining the classic meeting, and welcome to our guest. Everyone here? I guess so. So we'll run into dive into the real questions of the day. Ask our biggest entrepreneurs. If you ask anyone how to get money here, Michael, hello.
Actually, I think that you have a problem with your mic. Actually, we don't hear very well. So if
Sorry. One sec.
Do you hear me?
yes, now it's better.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Yeah, thank you, everyone. I was sorry about that. Take issue.
Yes.
Take issue. Okay, I think it's good now. It's good.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. I'm sorry about that. Thank you very much, Sabrine and Martin, Mighty and Mary Ben. I appreciate your time. Today we want go again. We'll introduce ourselves, which is very amazing. So thank you very much, and for making your time to share with us the biggest skills in entrepreneurship. As African Rebirth aspires and inspire to raise young leaders who are very equipped in terms of leadership, business, but also diplomacy. So this segment, we have our first session on entrepreneurship. And as you know, like everyone is striving to get some kind of, but today we want to answer the greatest question of the day. And I'll begin with Sabrine. How do you define entrepreneurship in your own style? Because the old style of entrepreneurship is go make some boutique, make some money, sell something. How do you define entrepreneurship holistically? And how could the young leaders approach entrepreneurship?
I think that the most important thing in entrepreneurship is starting a business with a passion. Like without a passion and a mission for what you are doing, the project will not have like the desired impact. So from my side, I think entrepreneurship is having a clear mission of the problem that you are solving, and wanting to create an impactful project that will impact people's life and the well-being of the planets. So for me, this is entrepreneurship. But what is an entrepreneur? An entrepreneur is a courageous, resilient, and perseverant person who have a clear goal, and who have also who had to have the patience needed in time of struggle to be able to go beyond this struggle and make this dream like a reality. So I think I don't know if this was clear, but for me, this is the most important thing.
Excellent. What I got there is passion. You know, you can't do anything without passion. How about to you, Mary Ben? How do you define entrepreneurship? What expose do you intend to, share in terms of entrepreneurship holistically?
Hi, everyone. I hope you can hear me clearly.
Yes, we can.
Thank you. It's a great honor for me to meet this amazing group of young people who want to join us into entrepreneurship. So for me, thank you, Sabrine, for defining that. For me, I always say, number one rule is that entrepreneurship is a scam. We always told that become an entrepreneur, life is going to be easy, you're going to take vacation, you're going to do this or that. But no, it's not the real thing. So for me, an entrepreneur is someone who comes into an existing market and disrupts it, meaning you join that market and you come up with something new. Because if you don't come up with something new to disrupt the market, you're just nothing but a business person. A lot of people don't understand being an entrepreneur and being a business person are two different things. A business person is someone who wakes up in the morning, you get that probably you have a restaurant and you decide someone has a restaurant, you decide you're starting up a restaurant, that's a business. Or it's a hotel, Airbnb, it's a cleaning company like where I am, hygiene. Someone wakes up in the morning and they decide they want to do that. That's a business person. But who is an entrepreneur? An entrepreneur is someone who comes into that business. It's a restaurant, and then he shifts the narrative of a restaurant. Probably he starts it, and then he puts a supermarket inside the restaurant, or a restaurant inside the supermarket. So literally you disrupt it and you become a market leader. That is the most important thing. An entrepreneur is a market leader. Yes.
Very good. That's an interesting quite a bit, like to differentiate between businessman and entrepreneur. Like lay back, put some boutique, sell, you're waiting people to come and buy, I've seen like the 21st century entrepreneurship is disruption of market. How about Normani? You there?
Yes, I'm here. Can everybody hear me?
Hello. Yeah, finally I see you now. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So I want to, for you being a visual therapist, I want to bring in an aspect of psychology, perception, surrounding. How does your surrounding influence you to be an entrepreneur? And how does it click psychologically, enables you to, to take that risk, passion, resilience?
Yes. So I saw a lot of people introduce themselves, and I saw some teachers, I saw some people that work with people with special needs. So I think that for me, my personal story was I went into my career field, got a degree, worked as an occupational therapist. And then after about 10 years in, I started noticing a gap and things that were being missed. So one thing about being an entrepreneur is, you know, finding your niche, and like Mary Van said, like disrupting a market. So I noticed that a lot of when after people had like a traumatic brain injury or a concussion or a stroke, the vision aspect of the rehab was being ignored. So I decided I was going to make that my, that's going to be how I'm different from everybody else. People are going to come to me for vision therapy in addition to occupational therapy. So I'm very passionate about it, like Sabrine said. So I think that you have to be passionate about what you're doing, and you have to find that thing that nobody else is doing. And you definitely have to be resilient and industrious. For me, and what I tell other entrepreneurs is, you know, if you're building from scratch or you're a startup, like that is the hardest part about being an entrepreneur. So with that being said, the most important thing is to find a mentor, read books about people who have done what you've done, and just continue to research and grow. Enoch, you're on mute.
Thank you. Yes, excellent submission. And I that comes to my second question now. You know, it's not like a walk to the park. You know, it's entrepreneurship. It's not a walk to the park. It's like, oh, I'm bored. Let me take a walk to the park. Then I said, make money. So there's so many ways to raise capital, and the biggest challenge in young people is raising capital. So I want to come to Norman. Now I'll start with you. How do you raise capital? How do you efficiently raise capital using the little resources or the lot of resources you might have? How do you raise capital? That's the big question.
That is the #1 question for all entrepreneurs. So all of the, I guess, books and lists that I've read always say, okay, what do you have, what money do you have saved up? A lot of people don't have that. Then the next one is go to your family and friends and borrow money. A lot of people can't do that.
Yeah.
So it's really being industrious. You can form partnerships with other people who may have what you need, or you can provide a service. Say if you're good at this part of entrepreneurship, you can become an advisor in that part and maybe make some money on the side. I think for being an entrepreneur, you have to have like many talents, all types of ways to raise money. But there's lots of grant programs just in different countries and areas, and you just have to see what you qualify. So if you're in healthcare, or you're in business or femtech or something like that, there are specific grants for what you're trying to do. And then all my mentors always advise against loans, but some people are in positions where they have no choice. They have to take out a loan, especially like if you're in the restaurant business or something like that, you need a lot of money to start up. So those are just some ideas. I'll let the other ladies answer too.
Absolutely. Thank you. So grants, you know, friends, family, you can raise money. That's very complicated, raising family through friends. I mean, money through family and friends. They're very good. And I want to come back to Maribel. From the African perspective, because you're in Kenya, and Sabrine too, I'll come back to you later. How do you raise capital? What's the mindset around capital? You know, building and accumulation.
So we have two different kind of capital funding, or rather capital funding. We have the equity financing and we have the debt financing. So the equity financing is all about when a company raises its capital by selling some of its shares. That means if your company is scalable, the kind of startup you're starting is scalable. This applies mostly to guys on tech companies. Actually, that's why they are so advantageous, because you get most of the ideas they're coming up with. It's sustainable, or it's actually self-sustenance. So probably they can sell some shares to the investors. Mostly they always take 10, 20% shares or even 30. And then the second way of capital or rather fundraising is debt financing. So the debt financing is also known as debt rising. And it's when your company borrows money from a bank or from a guarantor and all that, and then you'll pay it back later. But this is one part I always discourage a lot of entrepreneurs from doing it. Never start a business with a loan, because you will spend the rest of your life or the rest of the business paying back the loan. So you never get any profit in return. So never do that. Like the previous speaker had said, you can even fund it yourself. Meaning, before you get into entrepreneurship, it means you have to work to gain the experience. A lot of people make mistakes, like they come from college, they just jump into entrepreneurship immediately. They haven't learned anything, because you're always told entrepreneurship is the way to go. So the first step is you go out there, you learn about it. Then as you're getting your wages, you're able to save money to now start your own business. And then you can do crowdfunding. Some of us have gone through the crowdfunding. It's the most raising strategy to make money on the scenes, whereby I have these nice shoes. I'm coming up with new pairs of Adidas. Probably now Adidas never existed, so I'm coming up with it. And then I meet different people and I tell them, you know what, these are gonna be the latest shoes in town. And if you purchase it as early as now, you'll be able to help me achieve the goal. And you'll be getting it as a discount. So you crowdfund it. Then you also have angel investors. So these are the wealthy investors in town, or rather wealthy individuals who fund businesses alone. And sometimes they can do it jointly, just like the equity funding, or they can do it separately. Then another way is we have personal contact. Now, those are your friends, your family, who come in and help you to raise capital. Like for me, I would say the person who helped me set up my business was my elder brother. He gave me the money to register for it, which was basically almost $101. So I registered the company, then I started advertising it without any job. And when I'll tell about my story, I'll tell guys, how can you be able to build up a successful business even without getting funds? How can you do it on your own? And lastly, I would say venture capitalist, which tends to invest into more mature companies. So if your business has been there for 2 years or 3 years and it has proved scalable, so you can also go for venture capitalist. Yes.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. And Sabri, how do you raise capital? I'm sure they exhausted most of the thing, but I would also want to hear your input on that.
Actually, I will speak about our own experience with raising capital, which I think is the most difficult task for an entrepreneur, as people may not believe in you in the first place.
Yes.
So it will be very hard for them to invest. What I will encourage the entrepreneur is to start small. Like said Normani, it's basically getting into programs like incubators, accelerators, that will give you like the first grant to start off. It's what we have done actually.
Yeah.
We started like with the small grants that helped us like launch our first MVP. And then with our first client, and we get like small traction, like a year traction, we were able to have numbers to show, because what investors looks for are, what are your metrics? How many clients do you have? How many letters of intent do you have? Have you like proved your product market fit into that into that specific market?
Yeah.
So they will ask you a lot about your financials. This have helped us a lot after when speaking in front of a VC or like venture capital, or in front like for a bigger amount, to say that we're ready for investments. And my advice is to have your financials ready. Your financial business plan have to be ready. You have to know your numbers, know how many clients do you have, how many cash flow do you have, what is your burn rate, how many cash do you have in like monthly, etc. These are the most important metrics for an investor to invest in. And how you look for that investor, actually you have to be specific about in which segment you operate. For example, for us, we look a lot for investors that invest in impact startups. For example, like said Marie-Ben, like there is a lot of tech-enabled investors that will invest in startups that are tech related. For example, for us, we looked for a lot of investors that invests in tech, and they said that we were out of their scope. So we have lost our time speaking with the wrong investor. So really, I advise the entrepreneurs to be like very specific on which investor to look for. And then it's very easy. If you have your numbers ready, if you have everything ready, just drop an email or ask someone to recommend your business, and that's it.
Absolutely. Very, very, very good point. I wrote a very good point, and that pushes me to my next line of question. You see, people think the biggest capital is money, but to what I know and what you get sharing is the biggest capital is knowledge, is network, is knowing your craft well. So that comes to my three what are the best skills an entrepreneur should possess, like basic skills? Mary, you want to take it first?
Yeah, I'd actually say, let me first put a caution out there. Entrepreneurs are never the smartest people in the market. What we do is, we're never the smartest people. What you do is we create a room whereby you bring in the new or the smartest people in town, you put them in one room and they function it all together. Now, one of the best skills that I would say an entrepreneur needs to possess, number one, is a marketing skill. If an entrepreneur cannot be a marketer, because that one is going to be a mess, because you need to market yourself. If you're proud of what you do, that goes with the elevator speech or pitch. When you're talking about yourself, you're given 3 minutes. So it's more of marketing. So number one, you need to be a good marketer to market yourself or to market your business. Number two is listening. You see, in as much as you're going to be the entrepreneur, you're going to be the CEO of that company, and you're not able to listen to what others are saying, you just want to talk and give directions, that business is going to fail. So you need to be a good listener. You listen to what your team is bringing on the table. Lastly is a team player. If you're not a team player whereby you feel like you're the leader, I always say never be a boss, but be a leader, whereby you look at what are these people saying, what are they bringing on the table. Someone can be a better marketer than you. She has studied, or he has studied the market, knows the trends, and they want to correct a mistake we've made as a company. But because you feel you're a boss, you don't want to take it. That's not being a team leader. You get someone is good in tech or someone is good in another field. So if you lack the skills of being a team leader, the entire ship is gonna sink. Yeah, those are the first three skills for me that I think are important.
Absolutely. And the best skills like marketing, it's what you put there and all people think like Coca-Cola is the best. You always take an example of Coca-Cola. But health-wise, people drink Coca-Cola
not.
and become obese, and it's unhealthy. So, but it's the marketing, you know. Yeah.
And you know what Coca-Cola does? I just realized the other day is that the reason as to why we all buy Coca-Cola, we don't even buy it for health purposes. It's because they give us that notion that we are drinking Coca-Cola as a family. That's why you will see that all their adverts are not advertised in the factory. Just like any other organization that is producing the products, their advertising is done in the factory. But for Coca-Cola, it's done in a family setting, meaning we are buying Coca-Cola just from our emotional perspective. Like we are having it with friends, with family, with colleagues. We are drinking out of refreshment. So emotions. And that gives us a very good marketing aspect of Coca-Cola.
Absolutely, yeah. Tapping into people's emotions is very key. You have to be charismatic in tapping into people's emotions. Like even in politics, people don't vote because they like you. They vote for their future. Who tells their future? The one future tell. Normally, what's your ideal? What's the best skills a young leader must possess in this field of business? The whole structure of entrepreneurship.
So the first thing that you have to do is show up for yourself. I always tell people that, like, if there's a networking event or there's something in your community or there's somebody that you need to go talk to, that's another business professional that can help unlock a door for you. Like, you can't be lazy or be scared or make excuses. You have to show up for yourself. So that's the number one thing of being an entrepreneur, is your business. So you cannot not show up for it. The second thing is the elevator pitch. Like Mary Ben said, like that is the second most important thing. You have to be able to, the reason why it's called an elevator pitch is because if you think about it, you go in an elevator, and you're talking to somebody you never met before, and they ask you, what do you do? And you have to be able to tell them, and I think she said 3 minutes. You can get in a group and practice. I think they want you to get it down to 1 minute nowadays because people's attention spans are so short. But like, you have to be able to communicate what you do, why it's important, and what your story is in less than 1 minute. Or a person's attention span is going to be gone. So write down why people should use your products or come to your business, and then practice that over and over again. That's called an elevator pitch or elevator speech. So the third thing is just having a story. Like I said, why? So what is your why? And your why is going to keep you going. So for example, I'm passionate about what I do because my daughter got diagnosed with a vision disorder. So I researched it more and started doing more for people in this field, So it's like, what is your why? So be able to communicate that as well.
Absolutely. Your personal story matters most. And that goes back to what taps into emotions of people with their psyche, is the power of the story, So people might forget other things, but if they say, oh, she started a business because her daughter got sick, it's an emotion, it's an attachment, So your story is very key. How about you, Sabra?
Actually, I've listened to my fellow colleague was saying, and I think that the most important skill is, like they said, it's like how to present yourself, how to attract people to believe in your project. Actually, I was a very bad pitcher, for example. Like, I've participated in a contest, and in front of like the jury, I was unable to speak, and that's what's the first shock for me. So I've trained myself by integrating a program, which is the Found Institute, for example. I had to learn how to pitch my project in 3 minutes. And I think that was the most important skill that I've learned in my whole journey. Beside when the project evolves, it's not only about pitching, because you will be like the head of the company. So you have to be very good at finance, for example. The things that I lacked, for example, so I have to train myself to learn how to deal with money, which is a big theme. Also, I think it's an important skill is how to network, which are the person that you will know that will help you in your journey. Also, my negotiation skill, for example, I'm a very sensitive person, so I'm very bad at negotiation. So I had to learn the hard way how to negotiate contract and how to hire people. Also, I think that you have to, the most difficult part is how to deal with people, how to deal with every personality and every person in your team. So it's very hard skill to learn, but we learn it the hard way. But because sometimes you have to fire people. So for example, I had to rehearsal a lot to be able to speak with that person, because I was like very unhappy and I was sad. So I wasn't supposed to show that I was very sad to do. So you have to know yourself first, know what are your capabilities and what you are lacking, and each step is needed, because you will learn along that journey. So if you know your capabilities and your weaknesses, so I will recommend to work on those weaknesses like one by one, not all at one time. Because
of course.
it's yes, that was I recommend every entrepreneur to do.
Oh, perfect. So your story directs me to this. It's not more about getting capital, going out there. It's also more about personal development, like investing in yourself, not in terms of money per se, but skill-wise, confidence-wise, networking, getting familiar to talk to people. I see like it's a greater tool to success. Absolutely. Like, is it Maribel, you say that entrepreneurs are not the smartest people? I 100% agree, but they know how to calculate money and bring to multiply. So very, very key. One more last question before we open up to the bigger audience. Culture-wise, like I follow a guy called Ken Honda. He's a Japanese millionaire, wrote a book about happy money. So he believes that people unhappy, you can be happy, but also make a lot of money. And his philosophy is so like revolutionary. He says that how you're brought up, creates a mindset of abundance or scarcity, So for example, if you are brought up, say, when you're a kid and they tell you, oh, money is a problem, money is a problem. For the religious, say money is evil, is the source of all evils, that person will grow up with timidity to money, to abundance, to accumulation. What's your take on that? How should an entrepreneur shape their mindset around abundance and prosperity? I want to begin with Normani.
I think that is a great question, and it's a question with an answer with a lot of layers to it. First of all, I think that environment is definitely a factor in how people think and what they do and grow up. But at the same time, you can find families with, like, for example, have two brothers, and then one brother grows up and be an alcoholic like his father, and then the other brother doesn't ever touch a drop of alcohol. So
Yes.
you can go one way or the other. So, and then I would say, as far as when we grow up, we have to, every single person has to relearn things, unlearn things, and find things that, you know, shape their perspective. So like I said before, I believe in reading a lot, and reading things from mentors or people who are an example of what you want to be like. So I think it's very important for people who get to a certain level to actually write books, because that's a way of giving back and saying how I used to be like this, but my mindset changed and my mindset shifted, and now I'm like this. So I just think it's really important for people like the Japanese millionaire to write books, so that people who didn't grow up in a certain environment, or people who did grow up in a certain environment, can change their mindset and their perspective. But as far as the question about, well, I guess the saying money is the root of all evil, the love of money is the root of all evil. So it's like, if you're willing to just throw anybody to the wolves for money, that's very evil. But if you're getting money and giving back, and you know, you do a lot of philanthropy, there's nothing evil about that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I like that. Marigan.
I literally love that question, because we've all, actually this has affected Africa a lot. We're always being told money is the root of all evil. And then our own culture, you get, we have this notion whereby when you see someone is so successful, we start relating it with witchcraft. Perhaps if someone died in that family, we'll start saying this person has sacrificed so and so in that family. So we grew up knowing you're not supposed to have a lot of money. You are supposed to have only limited cash that it's going to sustain you and your family in terms of food and education, not even savings, not building houses for yourself. And for me, money is not the root of all evil. Just like nobody has said, money is not the root of all evil. The love of money. How do you handle your money? Because money is good. Money brings happiness. People say money cannot bring happiness. Yes, it does. Because if I am a billionaire right now, I'll be able to donate money to someone suffering in Sub-Sahara. I'll be able to donate that money to someone who is in need of it, someone who is in need of chemotherapy. And in return, it's going to make these people happy.
Yeah, absolutely.
We've seen several videos going on social media whereby kids in India, they're being bought for clothes, guys in Africa are being fed, and they become happy. So money brings happiness. And then one thing we need to get to grow out of our limited mentality, whereby if you have money, you cannot succeed. We are called to be entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs are problem solvers. We need to solve problem in the market. We are not called to be limited to what the society says. I remember when I wanted to start my business, I told my family I want to be an entrepreneur, and they said, no, nobody in our family can do that. And at times I tell my mama, I usually tell her that, you know what, I'm going to be the wealthiest woman in Africa. And she'd be like, nobody's going to do that. It's impossible. And I look at her and I'm like, nah, it's not. It's very, very much possible, because we are called to be limitless. The limitations we have in our own life, it's because of what we've been taught, our society, our spiritual belief, and the kind of mindset we have come to conform to our own self. When you grow up in an environment whereby every now and then you're being told you can't, you can't, you can't. So also you believe you can't. And when you look at our current society, there are a lot of rules and regulations that were created back then, which were created for their own sake, to protect their own interests, and we didn't know about it. So we are growing up knowing this is the way of life, yet it's not the way of life. It was the way of our own limitation. So I tell people, go out there, let money love you. Let money fall in love with you, because you're not going to like it if you're staying in a limited environment.
Absolutely.
So money is good, and how you use it is the problem. Thank you.
Absolutely. Very good submission. And Bob Protector says money is emotion, is energy, moves. When you cast money, when you follow the Bible verses, blessed are the poor, you definitely be a poor human being. Anyway, that's the other day. Sabrina, yeah? What's your take on that?
Actually, I was speaking about this with a friend like before this meet, like it was like 5 minutes before. And it was another entrepreneur. And I told him I have a very bad relationship with money. Actually, I don't like to speak about money. And and when I started the project, I didn't start it for the money, actually. I started because I wanted to achieve something impactful. And that was my personal mission in this life. So as the project evolved, I found myself speaking only about money. Like you will speak about the money with your investors, you will speak about money with your clients, you speak about the money with your suppliers, you will be negotiating money, you will speak about money with your co-founders. And what I do at a daily basis is only speaking about money. And he told me, like, Sabrine, money is the universal language and you have to get used to it. And what he said also, and I want to thank him, he said, actually, I want to speak about the technicalities and about the impact, but also what money can enable. Like, if you give me the money, I will be able to impact, like said Marie-Ben, people's life, and I will make the world a better place. I started the project with like small amount with my savings from my previous job. And it was like very hard at the beginning because we lacked fund, and we still lack fund. Actually, we will always lack fund.
That funds, yeah.
And it will not always not enough because you have a dream about something so big and so impactful, and you are seeing like so many things, and you want to hire people, and people cost a lot of money, and you will like discuss salaries and salaries. So you have to find the right everyone said, the right balance between what you want and what you need and the reality, actually. And as an entrepreneur, I think that you were speaking about money every single day.
Absolutely.
And everyone, one time I was crying with my mother, and I was telling her, everyone is looking for my money. And she said, like, it's the path that you have chosen. I said, no, it wasn't that what I wanted at the beginning. I wanted to create like my dream, something. And the reality, what I want to say, actually, I will make it like very short. The reality and your dreams are so. I encourage everyone here to have like a good relationship with money, to know how to save money, to know where to put the money, which people need your money, how to negotiate your contract so you'll be able to save your company's money. So you have to gain very, very good technical skills about the finances and how to make a lot of cash in a small amount of time.
Absolutely. Very, 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 very powerful, and your personal stories. Actually, the guy goes in to say that one day he asked his mentor, who was a billionaire, I said, I want to make money. I said the first step to make money is to forget about money. Now that's confusing, right? But the guy was hitting onto something extraordinary. Like money is not the main goal. So money is just a reward. It's a service you give to the world. You know, Samsung, a person who created Samsung gave a service. He will never die a poor man. You know, Facebook, every service. So I think the scarcity mentality that is built around is money's, bringing, but it's like this, pausing and bringing, pausing and bringing. And as a result, it builds around your subconscious mind, which is a very, very key. I think the therapist can speak more about that than I, what you put in a subconscious mind. And what accumulates in your subconscious mind commands your goals, commands your decisions, commands the way you see the world, and which is very, very key. But I want to tie the link between now, we built how to succeed, we built the money-making mentalities. How does entrepreneurship boost the economies of the world, boost the economy, boost the Africa now? How can it boost? How can it shape the political landscape, the economic landscape, the social landscape? Really quick and open to the audience. I want to begin with Sabri, and I'll turn around like that.
Actually, I have also another example. Is a Tunisian startup who exited, like it's called Instadeep, and the money they exited with is 1/3 the amount of the whole Tunisian country asking the FME to invest in us. So imagine if this company was based in Tunisia. The company was not based in Tunisia because of our rules and regulation regarding investing and regarding money.
Right.
So we have a lot of problems. For example, having like the money flows is very hard for us, for example, because we have very strict regulation about foreign currency. So we are obliged at Tunisian startup to be incorporated in other countries that have less tax regulation, less constraints about the currency flow, etc. So imagine if every startup, Tunisian startups, stayed in Tunisia, and imagine if Instadeep was Tunisian based, how this could enhance the economic landscape of the Tunisian country. We are in a very bounded environment that don't let the youth and the entrepreneurs have the right landscape, like, for example, about the regulation, about the corporate laws, about the bureaucracy, about the corruption. All this will impact a lot our day-to-day activities and force us to go outside of our countries to seek more stable environment. Even investors, like, for example, international investors, don't invest in us if we are incorporated in Tunisia, because they are afraid to have, like, to not get their money back in case of economical instability. So we are obliged to go elsewhere to be able to be financed.
Absolutely.
So all of this creates a frustration for the entrepreneurs, and I wish someday that the Tunisian government will see the potential of the Tunisian startup ecosystem, but also how to create wealth more rapidly if they invest in the right people and in the right projects.
Absolutely. So it cuts all the red tapes cut money flow. I love that point. How about you, Norman? How can entrepreneurship boost the economic boom? Regardless, taking an example, like most the African American perspective, how can it really boost the economy? Yeah.
So this is a very touchy subject for a lot of people. So I would say that I was in the United States Navy for about 6 years, and I was an active duty occupational therapist. So I provided medical services for the military. And one thing they used to always say was we were the world's greatest Navy. And then they would always say, do you know why? And they would say it's because of diversity. We have men, we have women, and we have people from every single country in our military, in our Navy.
Yeah.
So when you have people from different countries and perspectives, like it actually gives you different points of view. And so I would say that a lot of countries in 2023 are still limiting themselves because of neglecting to let women in, or neglecting to let people from different countries in, or whatever. The more points of view and perspectives you can get, and the more diversity you can get, the better and greater your company can grow.
Excellent, excellent. Embrace diversity. Embrace diversity. Absolutely. Quick, Mary Ben.
So in Africa, entrepreneurship boosts economic growth by introducing innovative technologies, like the one Sabrina was discussing about, products and services like ASU services, like in the pest control service and cleaning service. So I work closely with young single mothers. So we try to change their livelihoods and their day-to-day activities. Also, I would say entrepreneurship, how they add into the economy is that they create competition for entrepreneurs. And when they do this, it challenges the existing entrepreneurs or the old generation entrepreneurs to becoming more competitive. And when they're becoming more competitive, that means more business, more taxes. Like in Kenya right now, we are all complaining about the kind of taxes we are receiving. So it tells us that we need to work extra hard. Another thing, entrepreneurship creates job opportunities for just the young, or rather we call them the newcomers from universities, or even the guys who have been in the market for long without jobs. So if today someone like Moses decides to set up, becomes an entrepreneur, he sets up an organization, he's definitely going to employ quite a number of people to join him on board. Entrepreneurship activities also raises, how can I put this? It raises productivities of farms and services. And lastly, I would also say it bridges the boundaries or barriers with other countries in terms of import and exports. Like right now, Africa, we are introducing after the One Trade organization, whereby, sorry, that's my battery, whereby we can be able to trade across our boundaries without tariffs. Tariffs, those are taxes. So all this was created because of entrepreneurship. Absolutely. And on top of that, we are replacing the old economy. We're also trying to replace the political aspect, because now a lot of entrepreneurs are young people. And we've seen Africa has had, for quite some time, we've had bad governance. And we want to see how are we going to bring in new governance that at least it will be able to unite Africa and even other continents. Thank you.
Excellent, excellent. Good, great submission. Well, I believe a lot of people have questions for you. Now, mine are well answered. I leave it to the audience. Thank you very much. I appreciate very great insights. Touched to psychology, touched to mindset, touched to money. Very, very key for a successful, holistic, prosperous nation and people. All right. So anyone with questions, can I hand over the mic to the moderator? Asha, you there?
Yes.
All right, so you can take over. You can hand the Q&A. Whoever has the question, can they ask the question from Asha? The mic back to you.
Wow. Thank you. Wow, it's been an amazing session. I know there are a lot of questions lined up probably. And to the members of 7th cohort, kindly, if you have a question, you can raise your hand and have a chance to speak and ask a question, or either you can write your question in the chat box. Any question from the members, please?
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon. Good evening.
Good evening. Yes, I was going to ask starting up and they're getting into entrepreneurship for the first time and they're driven to get in there. Like, what would be like your go-to advice?
Sorry, repeat it again.
Okay, yes, I was saying, what would be your advice to someone who's very new, getting into entrepreneurship, and they just want to hear, like, what do you have to advise them as they're getting into entrepreneurship for the first time?
Okay. Can I answer that?
It's a youth thing,
Yeah, please go ahead.
and most of us from place, you know, so what advice do you have?
Pamela, you are breaking. Can't hear
You're
you
breaking.
well.
I think I had the first part of her question was that what advice can we give to entrepreneurs, someone who's getting into entrepreneurship? Please fail. And when you fail, fail hard. Don't be scared to fail. And if you are to cry, cry. Because entrepreneurship has its own ups and downs. The first year can work for you. The second year can work for you. The third year, you're going to fail. But let me be honest with you. Be ready to fail. And every single day when you fail and fall, make sure you fall forward, not backwards, so that you rise up, dust yourself, and do it again. I've been an entrepreneur this is my 6th year, and I want to be honest with you, there are days I wake up and I'm so scared of failing for that day, so scared that I don't know what will happen next. There's a season where business picks up very fast. Within 3 months, you have back and forth clients, funds, and all this. Then the next 6 months become terrible. You're looking for your paycheck, your next paycheck. You don't know where you're going to get your food. Probably if you haven't paid your rent or your office rent, the landlord is locking your house, is locking your office. You don't know what to do. That is the time a lot of people give up and they go back into employment. But if you're an entrepreneur, you know very well you will wake up tomorrow and there's no business. For the next 1 week, no emails, no phone calls, no nothing. But trust you me, in the long run, it's worth it. You cannot be in the stock market in 10 years or 15 years time if you haven't gone through all this. Definitely in the 15th year, you're gonna fail. So in order for you not to fail on the 15th year, fail right now and fail real good. And brace yourself for that. And lastly, don't be moved by what you see on social media, whereby every now and then someone sends a photo. I'm in Maldives, entrepreneurship rocks, or then this wonderful, amazing hotel, and they tell you entrepreneurship, free life, and all that. Trust you me, they don't tell you the nights they have cried. They don't want to tell you, even at that time when they're in Maldives, they still have stress. Even that time they're in that beautiful hotel, there's an email that has come in that they feel like they want to scream. They don't know what they're going to do next. So that's the life of an entrepreneur. Embrace it till the end. Thank you.
Anyone can listen?
Yeah.
Anyone listen to me?
Yes, you're audible.
Okay, may I get the chance to talk or to
Yes,
ask a
please
question?
go ahead.
Okay. Hello, everyone, and Mr. Arnold and the distinguished guests. It was the best expression or description about the entrepreneurship. In between, I was trying to take some notes about the entrepreneurship and its skills. The question I have for the distinguished guests is that what do you mean to that when you said market destruction? I hope if I can you hear me?
Yes.
What do you mean by market destruction? One of the distinguished guests said that market destruction. Thank you.
Sabrine, I've seen Sabrine speaking.
Actually, the
so.
question is for you. Like he said, like market distraction, whether it's market disruption. So I think it's for you.
Oh yes. When I said market disruption is what is that new technology or innovation or new market, not even marketing skill. What is that thing that you want to add more into that business or into that industry? I'll give an example. I run a cleaning and pest control company, and everyone always knows that it's just the normal cleaning and pest control. But what did we do? We changed it. 90% of our staff are young single mothers, purely young single mothers, and 10% are young single fathers. Why? Because these are people that they're being looked down upon in the society. Nobody wants to know their story. Nobody wants to know how they survive. So we looked at that market and we felt like there's a need in this market. And most organizations have CSR opportunities. So we began with the organization, instead of you guys waiting till end of the year to have any CSR opportunities whereby all of you go to one orphanage, you want to take photos, bombard it with us on social media, or you want to do this and this by the end of the year. Give us this opportunity. We give you a team of 12 or 15 young single mothers. You pay us for the cleaning. They are well equipped, well trained, and this has seen us win over 8 awards within 2 years, both locally and internationally. So when you want to do something in that market, do it so good, but in a unique way. Look at something that lacks in the market and then bring it in. That is always the way that you'll be able to sell yourself. You'll be able to stand. I always tell people, if you want to be an entrepreneur or whichever area you are working, being a career person and all that, be the best in that market. Let you be the talk of town. Is that okay?
Great.
It's very good.
Thank you so much, Mary Ben. I saw Moses raising up your hand, please. Any other question?
Hello. Yes, I've got a question.
Go ahead, please.
Yes, thank you very much. First of all, I would like to thank everyone who presented. It was just very nice and touching, actually. But now my question goes like this. Is it logical to start a business with a small capital or with a lump sum? And then what could be the implications? Like, for example, between these two gentlemen, the one who starts a business with a small money or capital and the one who starts business with a large capital. Now, between the two, which business lasts for long? And is it possible that when starting a business, do you have to create a buffer? Like when you see the business is crumbling, you have to back it up.
I can answer that question. So as far as having a buffer for when you feel the business is failing, that is very like a 1% chance. Most people don't have that. Now, if you have the opportunity to have that, great, wonderful, like you're doing exceptional. But realistically, I was told when I first started my business to start small, to kind of research like if you have a small amount of money or a certain amount of money, don't spend it all in the beginning. Like start small and then grow. Like that's the safest way to be an entrepreneur. Like being an entrepreneur isn't necessarily playing it safe because you're going out there and you're disrupting the market, like she said. But as far as like with money, if you want to have longevity, you don't want to go out there and get the biggest building on the block just because you have the money. You want to get a room in a large business and then get your customers to start coming in and then grow from there. I hope that answered your question.
All right, thank you so much. Abdullah Ismail, kindly go ahead with your question.
Assalamu alaikum. Hello. Good evening, everyone. I'm Abdullah Ismail Abdullah once again from Nigeria. I want to use this opportunity to thank our guest speakers and our moderators for doing a job well done. You know, my question is, I have a dream of starting a business that can grow from here in Nigeria, that can grow and then feed the whole of Africa and the world. And funding is as well the primary challenge. And I want, in particular, I'm sorry, I don't want to be that choosy, but I will wish that Mary Ben respond to my question about crowdfunding. Can you shine more light? Can you tell me more about crowdfunding? So maybe it can be one of the alternatives I would use to raise funds. Thank you.
Thank you, Abdullah. Let me just ask, what kind of business is that you want to do that can feed the whole of Africa?
It's a business of commodities.
Okay. Now, the shortest way for you to do that is to start where you are. Let Africa be the long term. In that, write your business proposal based on the long term. The end goal is to supply it across the whole of Africa. So from there, now we begin to start from the first step. Who is around you, your locality? Because if you want to supply across the whole of Africa and your product is not known in your own country, it becomes a challenge that it will not pick up in this new other country. Probably your next place will be Ghana because it's closer to you. It will not pick up from there because guys don't know about it. So what you need to do is start from your own locality. Build it so big. Let people know this is the only brand that can be found in Lagos or in Accra or in Abuja. After building it in Abuja, you move to the next town, which is Accra. After building it in Accra, then you go to Lekki. Let it be known so much in Nigeria and then create a demand out of Nigeria. About crowdfunding is whichever product you have, is it consumable to your client? Is it something that can be produced on demand? Now, if it can be produced on demand, you go ahead and market it to different individuals, people who have the capacity to purchase it, and you tell the person the benefits of that product. Why do they need the product? And the secret is sell to the emotion. I tell people you can sell a pen, a mere $10 pen or $20 pen to someone, and this person will buy based on how are you attracting their emotion. I'll give you an example. I can create an ad, or I can come to you and tell you, imagine you're in your wedding and you're about to sign your marriage certificate. You're marrying this bombshell that you've always desired since you were young. But when you try to get into your pocket, but you don't have a pen, or the pen that you have in your pocket is leaking, and you're putting on a white suit and it's on your wedding day. You promised your mother, you promised your family, you're going to be on your best behavior, but you don't have a pen, or the pen has messed you up. And then I come and I come around and give you this pen, and you sign your best investments in this woman. Definitely you're going to buy that pen. You see, because I've not sold it because you need the pen. I've just sold it to your emotions. Or I'm there and I'm telling you, you're a young entrepreneur. You've just received the funding from Dangote or from Tony Elumelu, and you're about to sign, you're being rushed, other people are waiting, and then you don't have a pen. But here I'm giving you an opportunity to your future. Definitely you're going to buy that pen. So it's all about your marketing skills and the need for your product in that market. Then make your product known in your locality, then grow it to the other areas. Within 1 year, your product is known, or 2 years, your product is known within Nigeria. Then open another need in the next town. So that's how it happens.
Thank you
Thank you,
so much.
Marvin.
You're welcome.
Let me take these two last questions. Dr. Jamal, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Audible.
Thank you, honorable guest speakers and moderators and Mr. Representative Enoch. Thank you, everybody. My question is, I have two questions actually. The first question is about currency in the Africa. Because when you think of starting a business in South Africa, you have to import money practice from foreign countries. So if you want to import anything from outside or to export products, you have to change your own currency to dollars. So when you think of exchanging your currency to dollar, it's a bit tricky because the currency rate changes every day, every second. So this, I think, this helps more many African entrepreneurs and businessmen, because if you have, for example, million, I'm for example from Ethiopia, if I have a million Ethiopian birr, I have to change it to the dollar to maybe go down to 100,000 or something like that, or 10,000 like that. So this may help me, or it will be a very challenge for me. So what do you think as African countries, can we have the same currency to solve these things? Because having different currency as an African country isn't not problem to go away with the business. The second question is about marketing, internet marketing, or online marketing. Can you tell us how to start online marketing and make it, advocate about it, and make it possible throughout the Africa? Thank you.
Among our guests who can take up that question in a minute because of time.
I'll answer that in terms of having one currency. I think that's why, not even I think, that's why AFTA has been created. AFTA is trying to bridge all the African countries to participate in trade, whether you're importing or exporting, with limited tariffs, and then we will have one major currency, whereby it will favor the guys who will be exporting. So with that, it's being looked at. And then digital marketing, it all depends. It's a skill that you need to learn. If you want to get into digital marketing, I would advise that you get someone online who is teaching. Actually on YouTube, you can get people, or even on Google, who will be able to teach you how to do online marketing for free. And then now you can upgrade your skills on that, then start making money out of it by approaching organizations to do their digital marketing, or individuals, brand individuals who don't have time to post. So you can pick up that job, charge them on a monthly basis, and then start posting. So it will work. And our moderator, I had seen someone here asking about social enterprise. Is it possible I answer that within a minute? It was,
Yes.
yeah, he had said that we should talk about something on social enterprise. Now, social enterprise is, a lot of people mistake it for non-profit, but it's 50-50. Social enterprise is for profit making. 50% of his profit goes back to the community, while 50%, or whichever number they agree as individuals, goes back to them. Now, social enterprise is something that we do for the community. I'm a social enterpriser, so 50% of our profit goes back to the young single mothers and their children for our education. So you need to look at what are you bringing in your economy, or rather in that community. You've identified individuals probably are orphans or single mothers or barren mothers, depending on the group, or even young men who are not able, who never finished school. So these are the people you want to assist. How do you go about it? So when you're finding a solution, you're finding a solution that directly affects or directly addresses the social issues in that environment that you've picked on. So as a social entrepreneur, therefore, you need to solve that issue. So you explore on your own business, and after you find that solution, you handle it. There are a lot of other organizations that you can Google and check. You can learn more from them. I learned it on with the Toms, the ones who are doing the Tommy shoes. Their rule is each 2 pair of shoes you buy, one goes back to someone who needs the shoes. So you can learn on that area. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I think now I can call on Mr. Enoch to give final remarks. We are running out of.
Okay, thank you very much, everyone. Such a brilliant message. So we have a tradition at African Rebirth. We don't let our guests go without giving one magic word that if they forget about everything you said, what is that one magic word? Marigan, what's your magic word tonight?
Allow me to give 3. That's my new rule for 2023. You need to be bold, you need to be authentic, and you need to be intentional. Bold, that speak up for yourself, stand up for yourself. And if it is that business you want to do, go for it. Do it scared, do it fearing, do it creeping, you do it. Intentional, be intentional. 2023, look at the people you're giving your time, you're spending time with. Is it all about gossiping or money gossip? If it's money gossip, then it's good. If it's gossiping about other people, nah, not for 2023. Being authentic, be who you are. You can say you're all beautiful in your own ways. So when someone comes and tells you, oh, you need to do this, you need to change that, as long as you're comfortable with yourself, please be authentic and love you for you. That's for your 2023.
Excellent. Norman.
I would say persistence. And then the days where you don't feel so persistent, make sure you have people in your corner that are cheerleaders to say, please don't give up. Remember why you started, your passion. Right. So I think that a lot of things we just can't do alone.
Absolutely.
Family members and community, or a friend or somebody that's gonna hold us accountable. So to continue to be persistent on the hard days.
Excellent. Thank you. Persistence. They say that persistence is omnipresent itself. Sabri.
Sorry.
Hello, Sabri.
Yes.
Yes. What's your one magic word that if I forget everything, but I won't forget?
Actually, I didn't understand the question very much.
Oh, so I said one magic word, like essentially your final remark, like in 3 words, yeah, or 1.
Actually, if I have had one magic word, is resilience
Resilience.
and courage, because I want to drop what I'm doing like every day,
Mhm.
because and like Marie-Ben said, people don't see how much times you cried alone in your room with no one to talk
Excuse
to
me.
and no one
Excuse
to
me,
seek
madam.
assistance from. So you have to be your own cheerleader, and you have to find the courage to push yourself every day by your own.
Thank you
And
very much. Oh,
I
go
think,
ahead, please. Yeah.
and I think
Excuse me.
this is the one single thing that make me go to work every day.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. Thank you to our wonderful, excellent. You guys appreciate them. We've been very awesome having you. And the biggest thing you can ever give is your time. As an entrepreneur, is your time. Yes, as even a human being is time. So thank you very much. I'm sure your time you won't put to waste. There's a lot of people learning excellent stuff about business, about personal growth, about entrepreneurship in general. So your time has not put to waste. I guarantee you that. So thank you very much. Books to recommend about money, buy Happy Money, please. You have bought a lot of expensive clothes, buy some books. Buy Psychology of Money, very good book, Psychology of Money. Buy Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill. You won't regret. So if you want anything about money making, wealth creation, abundance, buy such books and maintain them. So thank you very much. It was a pleasure hosting you. And for everyone, thank you, our moderator, Asher. Have a very rest of good day ahead. And we'll see you next week.
Thank you very much. Bye bye.
Thank you very much.
Let's take a photo.
For sure, for sure.
Yes, open your cameras.
Somebody with a nice skill, the camera. Please, this is the opportunity to shine.
Yes. 1, 2, 3. Up. 1, 2, 3. Tack. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Today cohort. Tomorrow we have the cultural diplomacy, so a cultural exchange day. So gonna have all young people across Africa exchange culture, exchange history, exchange lifestyle, social skills, social venture. Please don't miss the time. Thank you very much. Have a very good day, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.